Hello, and welcome to this short mindfulness meditation to help you cope with anxiety. So, the first thing you need to know is that mindfulness is not about clearing your mind. I'm just going to make some suggestions as to where you can focus your attention and also give you some good advice about what happens when, as inevitably happens, your attention will wander away. So, right now, I want you to tell yourself that this is your time. It's your time that you're giving to yourself because you're worth it. So I want you to get yourself comfortable, turn your phone off, make sure you won't be disturbed. And just settle yourself down in a chair or on a bed or on a stool or wherever you feel comfortable. And first of all, I'm going to invite you to listen to the sound of my singing bowl. I'm going to ring the bowl 3 times. Third time, I'm just going to let the sound die away quite naturally. And I want you to focus your attention on the sound of the singing bowl as it fades away. Now, it's entirely up to you whether you want to have your eyes open or closed during this meditation. Mindfulness meditation is not about trying to clear your mind, but some people do find it easier to follow the things I suggest that they should focus on if their eyes are closed, so they're not being as distracted by things they can see. But if you find yourself beginning to become sleepy, then you can always open your eyes to make sure that you stay awake, because mindfulness isn't about relaxing, although you do relax as a result of it. But mindfulness is sometimes called falling awake, because it's to encourage you to be very aware of what's going on here and now. The first thing I want you to do is to be very aware, right here, right now, of the sound of my singing bowl. As the sound of the bowl fades into silence, you may be aware of other sounds reaching your ears from inside or outside the room. That's fine. Don't go looking for sounds, but let go of the natural tendency to identify or classify the sounds or to judge them as good or bad. Just let them fade into the background. And the first thing I would like you to focus your attention on is where your body is. Can you become very aware of where your body is and where your body is in contact with the bed or the chair or the stool or wherever you are? Notice that contact between your body and where you are. Maybe you can notice that there are some parts of your body that aren't being touched by anything. Maybe you can notice different textures touching you. Whatever you notice is perfect for you. But then I want you to let your awareness move inwards, and I want you to become very aware of your breath. I don't want you to change your breath in any way, just breathe quite normally, but I want you to rest your attention in every in-breath and every out-breath. What do you notice about each breath? Are you maybe aware of air moving in and out through your nose? Maybe you notice that when you breathe in, that air is slightly cold, and when you breathe out, it's warmer. Maybe you're very aware of muscles moving in your chest or in your tummy. Whatever you notice is perfect for you, and just let your attention rest with whatever comes most strongly to your attention. Now, if you realise that your mind has wandered away, as you're very likely to, I don't want you to immediately start thinking, oh, I'm crap at this mindfulness lark. I want you to congratulate yourself, because mindfulness is about being aware of what your mind is doing. So if you've noticed that your mind has wandered away, that's good. If you like, you can mentally put a note on a pin board to remind you that that's something you need to think about later. But then gently, compassionately, lead your mind back to focusing once more on every in-breath and every out-breath. Because right here, right now, all that matters is just this breath coming in, just this breath going out. And it doesn't matter how many times your mind wants to wander away. Just as many times, gently lead it back. Because when you notice that your mind has wandered away, you're being mindful. And when you lead your mind back to focusing on your breath, you're succeeding in being mindful. So, what do you notice about your breath? Maybe you notice air moving, muscles moving. Maybe you can follow your breath all the way in and all the way out. But there's movement involved. But now I'd like you to try and become aware of that moment of stillness that happens in between each breath. Because when your out breath becomes an in breath, and then again when your in breath becomes an out breath, just for a moment, everything is still. Don't hold your breath, but can you become aware of that moment of stillness? How do you feel in that moment of stillness? Stillness is something that can be very hard to find because we lead busy lives, we're rushing here, we're rushing there. And very often our minds are also rushing with thoughts, memories, with what ifs. But if we never take a moment to be still in our bodies, we're going to get very tired. And the same thing is true of our minds. If our minds never get a break from the what ifs, that's very bad for us. So maybe you can think of your breath as an anchor to help you find that moment of stillness anytime you need it. You might like to think about the fact that that moment of stillness actually happens hundreds of times every day, whether you're aware of it or not. It's a resource that you can tap into simply by focusing your awareness onto your breath. Use your breath as an anchor to help you find that moment of stillness, to anchor yourself into this moment, remembering that right here, right now, all that matters is just this breath coming in, just this breath going out. use the short spell of silence to practice, focusing your awareness on your breath, maybe finding that moment of stillness. And any time you discover your mind has wandered away, gently, compassionately leading your mind back to your breath and to that moment of stillness. Doesn't matter how many times you need to lead your mind back. The main thing is that you practice leading your mind back. It's called mindfulness practice for a reason. Because it takes practice. If we never give our minds a break from remembering the past or worrying about the future, it's not good for us. It makes us feel very poorly. And so taking time out every day just to be mindful, to focus on your breathing, is something that can just be so helpful. Remembering that you can focus your attention onto your breath anytime you need to. Anytime you become aware that your mind is racing away and that you need to stop it, just let your mind focus on every in-breath and every out-breath. Now that stillness that you found in your breath is something that happens hundreds of times every day. So maybe you could think about the fact that maybe every time it happens, you could imagine a tiny drop of stillness being put into that place deep inside you, where you keep all those good feelings that you need to tap into when life gets challenging. And now I'd like you to take a deep breath in and to imagine you breathe down into that place where you keep those good feelings. And with your in-breath, breathe down deep into it. And as you breathe out, can you imagine that your breath carries with it that feeling that you need most right here, right now? And as you take 3 or 4 gentle, easy breaths, can you imagine that feeling spreading through the whole of your body, from the top of your head all the way down to the tips of your toes? And when you've done that, can you hold the whole of your body in your awareness for a moment and notice how good it feels? And notice how good you feel. Then I'd like you to let your awareness move outwards again so that you become aware once more of where your body is in the room and where it's supported by the bed or the chair. Gradually let your awareness move even further out so that you become aware once more of sounds both inside and outside the room. And I'm going to ask you to listen once more for the sound of my singing bowl. I'm going to sound it 3 times. If you've got your eyes closed, keep them closed until you've heard the bowl sound for the 3rd time. So allow your eyes to open if they were closed. Bring yourself back to normal awareness, but just keep in the front of your mind the thought that you can actually recall this good feeling anytime you need to, and by focusing on your breath, and effectively take this good feeling with you through the rest of your day.